All right, so we're going to build our medium complexity chair, and we're going to use a couple of new tools. We're going to use our tape measure tool, and we're going to create some components. So groups and components are ways to isolate architecture so that you're not falling into the trap of creating sticky geometry. And it allows you more flexibility with how you work and edit shapes. So I'm going to select this. Let's just delete the whole thing. Boom. Delete all the guides. Okay, we're going to start by grabbing our rectangle tool. We're going to click, we're going to drag out. We're going to make a rectangle that's 18 inches by 18 inches. So that's 18 quotation mark, comma, 18 quotation mark, enter. So now we have 18 by 18. We're going to grab our push-pull tool. We're going to push this up. We're going to make that, let's make that 4 inches. Enter. Okay. Let's make it 2 inches. Let's drag it up. Let's make it 2 inches. Bam, I like that better. Okay. Now we're going to select this and we're going to group it. And that way the architecture won't stick to it. We're going to right click. We're going to make this a group. So now we can draw on top of this without it sticking. So now I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to work on the back. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool. I'm going to click and I'm going to draw a rectangle that's 2 inches by 2 inches, 2 quotation mark, comma, 2 quotation mark, enter. And I'm going to double click and select this and make sure the whole thing is selected like so, and right click and choose make component. So when I make a component, it passes the architecture onto additional shapes. There's a parent-child relationship, and this allows me to have greater control of my object. So I'm going to call this chair back. And click create. And I was already working in here, so I'm going to have to go ahead and let it redefine that. So now I've got this shape. You see that if I double click, I can edit it. What I want to do right now is I want to select it. I want to grab my move tool. I'm going to grab it from the corner. I'm going to drag all the way to the other end. I'm going to click once, and then I'm going to add a number of steps in between. So let's experiment. Let's try, plus the one that's already there, let's try 5 / enter. And that looks even enough. I like that. So that's our chair back. Now that we've made the steps in between, we're going to double click and open one. So now I'm inside of that component. If I click away, I'm no longer inside of it. If I double click, I'm inside of it. If I double click here, I'm inside of the chair bottom. I want to be inside of this shape here, and I'm just going to grab my push-pull tool and pull it up. And when I pull it up, it pulls up all the others as well. So this is a very cool way for me to edit and create shapes, right? So I have something like this. That looks pretty good. I'm going to click away. And there's my chair back. Now I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to make a rectangle that goes across the top of the chair like that, and grab my push-pull tool and push-pull that up into space. And you can round that off if you want, or you can leave it flat like that. I like that. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to rotate it so I'm looking underneath. And we're going to use the tape measure tool. So this tape measure tool measures distances, creates guidelines or points or scale for the entire model. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to move it over the bottom of the chair, and I'm going to grab that midpoint and click and drag it inwards. And what I want to do is I want to set a guide 2 inches in from there. So I'm going to go 2 quotation mark enter, and do the same on all 4 sides. Drag that inwards, 2 quotation mark enter, and so on. Keep going, drag that inwards, 2 quotation mark enter, and on the last side as well, 2 quotation mark or 2 inches. Now I'm going to create the chair leg. Once again, I'm drawing on the chair seat is grouped, so I'm drawing on top of that. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and now I can snap this shape to that rectangle, and then I'm going to double click and select it all, turn it into a component. I'll call this chair leg. Now I've already done this in the same um, uh, 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 in the same file because I was experimenting. So I'll call this chair leg 2. You won't need to do that. It's just that I already created this once, and I probably should have just started from scratch, but you get the idea. I'm going to click create. And now I'm going to copy that architecture. I'm going to grab my selection tool, make sure this is selected, hold down the control key, and snap this onto. It's going to snap. So drawing those guides can be very helpful. And snap. And one more, grab it. Always grab from corner to corner, edge to edge, snap. Now I'm going to double click and open that component, grab my push-pull tool, and when I pull the one leg down, all the legs come down, and I can make the height of the chair, the legs of the chair, whatever I want. That looks pretty good. Maybe a little shorter. Let's make it just a little bit shorter. Oops, went the wrong way. Let's grab the bottom here, drag it up. And now I'm going to click out. And there's my medium complexity chair, right? And we learned a couple of new tools with that.